went out to eat, and I went to learn at the Kollel for a couple hours. Travis says I hop. That was the comment. It was good. It was good learning. I learned hard, man. It was really hard. I mean, like working hard, learning hard. I pumped it out. I beat up videographer pretty good. He got the recording of it, so if I'm gonna try to edit it, I'll put it up. You guys will get a kick out. It was really fascinating topic. It was mind blowing stuff. But I don't want to give it over again, so I can just put up the recording. Anyway, so when you learn King David's Psalms, it's a different world, you know. King David stands for something different than everybody else. We know that. And it's ironic. It's like everybody knows that King David is it. Everyone knows that he was treated not it, and yet nobody still to this day learns King David Torah. I remember also 15 years ago when I first started learning, I said, they asked me what I wanted to learn in the night Kollel in Cleveland. I said I wanted to learn the Psalms. They said, all right, that's good, but how are you going to do that? It's very hard to learn. I said, I don't know. That's your job. You're the rabbi, and I just want to learn Psalms. So I sat down with this friend of mine who was in the Kollel back then. His name was Aaron Sikowitz. And he had no idea what to do. And to me, this was, Moses incarnate, a guy that knew how to learn. I was just, 21 years old and didn't know anything from anything. And I was told, we don't learn Psalms. No one knows how to learn Psalms. It's hard, blah, blah, blah. And, here I am 15 plus years later. It's not that hard. And I'm not saying I have a great skill. It's just, it literally is not that hard, right? There's the Mikros Gedolos set of commentary on the entire Tanakh. And Psalms is one of the books of Mikros Gedolos. Like, why would they not pull off the shelf Mikros Gedolos when I was 21, 22? I mean, to me, that's pretty much a no-brainer. But they didn't, because people just don't think in terms of, I can, should, and would learn King David Torah. They don't even think. I remember being also in yeshiva 15 years ago, and somebody telling me King David was this and that. I thought, he knew Torah? Really? King David knew Torah? You don't think so? They said, yeah, he knew all the Torah. I'm like, no, come on. You're just saying that. He didn't really know that much Torah. He was just King David. And I remember when I first started doing Shuvah, I was asking the rabbi who everybody was, because I forgot. And I'm like, I was asking class. I said, so Moses is a good guy, right? He says, yeah. Moses gave us the Torah. All right, good, yeah. And I remember from the Purim play, the Purim carnival, like Mordecai and Haman and Esther. He says, yeah, well, Mordecai was the best guy around, and Haman was the bad guy, and Esther was great. Oh, okay. And didn't we have kings or something? Didn't we have kings? He says, yeah, we had King David. I said, yeah, he was the first king, right? No, he wasn't the first king. He probably ruled the longest. No, there are other people who ruled, just as long or whatever. So I had no idea David even was real. It's just amazing how Jewish education leaves stuff out. But then when you got to yeshiva, it's like, okay, David HaMelech was great, but we don't touch his Torah. We wouldn't want to. There's no reason to. So it just doesn't make sense. Anyways, the point is that when you get into King David Torah and you learn a Be'iyun, which is in depth, and you really hash it out and split hairs and get into the commentaries, you realize he has a completely different view of the universe as everybody else. And he's right. I mean, it just point blank. First of all, no one's going to say King David's wrong. Number two, he's Mashiach for all intents and purposes. The soul that comes back, whatever it is. All right, David is the guy on every level. Mashiach ben David, right? Need not question any further. And everybody knows he had a hard time. It's an anomaly. Why is everybody not required to learn the Psalms and the Torah of the Psalms? But they're not, and they don't. I've met very few people that have. In fact, the only person I've ever met in my life that's learned it is Avram Sutton. And we've talked a lot about it, he and I. Anyways, to make a long story short, and it's already been a long story, King David has a fascination with two words that I think nobody else in all of Torah does. and it's the Nefesh and the Ruach. Now, don't go and tell me that you've read Kabbalah and there's 5 levels of soul, and there's the Nefesh, the Ruach, the Neshama, the Chaya, and the Yechida. All right, yeah, we know that. And it's Lurianic Kabbalah. We know that, and it's a classic thing. But what I'm saying is that King David has just another view of the universe. His own, and it's just, it's just right. It just feels right, sounds right. It's emes. And so he really doesn't get into neshama, all the more so chaya and yechida, the upper levels of soul. He really has this more almost of the Hasidic way of the godly soul, the nefesh elokis. James Gosnell talks about it a lot, right? The animal soul and the godly soul. You guys know this concept, the godly soul and the animal soul? It's Hasidus 101. And so Kabbalah doesn't really go there. It's not Kabbalah. Kabbalah focuses on the 5 elements of soul. This is a Hasidic thing, and also the Vilna Gaon gets into it a lot. In his introduction to, I think, Koheles, which is Ecclesiastes, he has the exact same teaching as the Chabad teaching. So it's a known thing. And again, it goes back to King David. It's King David 101. And King David is just the guy. It's just, I can't say it enough. I've learned the whole book, and it's life-changing stuff. No English available of Kohelet Gura. That's right. It's part of a Aderet Eliyahu. God willing, I will translate the whole thing one day. God willing. No promises. No promises. Just if things keep going, God willing. I doubt I will, but God willing. It's just a massive project. So King David describes, for example, I guess this is kind of like a King David night. You guys down with that? Kind of like a King David night. Loretta, you all right with that? King David night. Is that code? What is that? Deep Space Nine? It's been a long day, Loretta. I've been teaching all day and beating up Amnon, the videographer, and Miron with really good stuff. So this is just kind of a laid-back night. But I am going to get to the point. Anyways, there's a concept in King David called Shem Yisrael. And it's the idea of real Jewish spirituality, which the Kabbalah is that. But Arizal Kabbalah is very technical in its delivery. King David is, as they say in Texan Kabbalah, the Mohin. Mohin, the God loot. All right, Mohin, the godless, for those that know it. That's right. It just, King David is the Kabbalah, but he spoke it, in literally the Torah of Mashiach way. He spoke, what I call mazel and all these things. David lived it. Divine providence, God in your life. We see it in the Psalms on the surface, but it doesn't do justice unless you learn the Torah of it. Because when you get into the Torah of it, you see the words used very much like our Mishlei class. Right? Mishlei is an incredibly boring book if you're going to be more on man. But if you're going to break it down and get into the words of Mishlei, you see what happens. It blows up into something like, wow, man. Because you really got to focus and isolate on every single word. I mean, is that not the biggest cliche in Torah world? You got to focus on every word. You can't let go. You can't even let one letter go by. Right? We've all been told that. But it's true. I think we've proven that. We prove it every week. It is the truest of the true. It's just the people that make it cliche don't live by it, and it makes it cliche. But King David's Torah is very much that way. You really got to isolate the Iker. What is an Iker? Who knows what an Iker is? As the point, the main thing, the archetype, or as the essence, as Amnon told me tonight, it's archetype. I don't think the British way pronounce it that way, but that's my opinion. But King David's words are all archetype. It's the Iker, right? So when it says Shem Yisrael, you have to get over yourself and realize that that is not, you don't translate that. You don't say, oh, well, the name Israel, and King David was great with the name Israel. No, you Dafka don't translate it. You do not translate Shem Yisrael. It's just called Shem Yisrael. Right? Really, everybody arguing on Facebook is absolutely beyond whatever because you don't translate Ger. That's the real answer of what Ger is. You don't translate Ger. You just don't. That's why the book is called The World of the Ger. Otherwise, it would be called The World of the Noahide. And it's not. It's called The World of the Ger. So this is what's called speaking Yeshivish. Eventually, there are words that you can translate, and there are words that you cannot translate. Give me a one or two if you think you can translate the word chap. You cannot translate the word chap. You either chap shot on chap or you don't. I mean, I'm kind of giving it to you guys straight tonight. You know, just I'm tired. It's the end of it's the end of my week because tomorrow I don't know how I'm doing Shem the next one. I am really wasted tonight. Amnon took it all out of me. But the point, you know, you just get real with it. You know, no, I'm well beyond the state of coffee. It's either intravenous or go to sleep early. That's what I'm holding. But you know, you speak Yeshivish. You know, you have to speak Yeshivish at some point. So when you get into King David Torah, you start to realize where the Iker is. Shem Yisrael, Hashkacha Pratit, which is divine providence. I know I translated it, but you shouldn't. Yeshua. How great is that word, Yeshua? Is that not a fantastic word? That's why the Messianics took it. I mean, it's so if this isn't the fight we're in, I don't know what is. King David must use, you know what? Let's find out how many times the word Yeshua is used in the Tanakh. Because it's an amazing word. Let's see here. Yeshua. I mean, King David lives for that word. So you knew what they were doing when they took it. That's interesting. How many times, Travis, do you think it's in here? Oh, no, wait. No, that's Joshua. Hold on. Doesn't count in the count. Hold on. It's funny. Joshua's. Did you guys know this? Joshua ben Nun is also called Yeshua. Did you know that? Just like the Messianic Yeshua. All right. Let's see. How many times in here? So it works. Okay, good. 75 times. Who knows why that's great? Yeah, it's the concordance. It's the list of all the words in the Tanakh. Why is that great? That the word Yeshua, salvation, bracha, is mentioned 75 times. Why? As Mike says, why? 75 is the gematria Kohen. Right? And those are so bound by the hip, Yeshua and Kohen. It's just that it's the same energy. Right? Travis, what's my proof for that? Do I have a proof for that? That Yeshua is Kohen, Yeshua, King David, Kohen, right? One big thing. What's my proof? Can somebody please post Psalm 110, verse number 4, I believe? Psalm number 110, verse number 4. You guys on it? Travis, you on that? There it is. Bam. Lars brings it. The Lord has sworn and will not change his mind. You are a priest forever. It's by my word, Melchizedek. Ata Kohen Liolam al Debarti Melchizedek. That is a verse written to David that he is a priest forever by the word of Melchizedek. Pretty cool, isn't it? By the way, when you look at the gematria of, I think it's Ata Kohen. I forgot. I got to look it up. But it's the same gematria, I believe, as Kol HaTor, if I'm not mistaken. Or that or Pinchas Eliyahu. I forget. I got to look it up again. I think it's Kol HaTor, though. Let me see. Let me do it now. Let's see. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Drop that. All right. I knew that was a bad spot for that. Let's see. Ata Kohen. Ready? 111, 406, 5. 100, 5, 106, so the plus 5, plus 5, plus 5, plus 5. Yeah, 753. That's exact. Oh man, this is a good lead-in. This is really a perfect lead-in where I want to go. That was Mazel. So 753 is the gematria Vekol HaTor, which is the verse, Kol HaTor. The Vav is in the verse. No, get this. Vekol HaTor in Atbash is 358. How do you like that? So, Yeshua is a great word. This is what King David does. He gets stuck, and, his day is going amok. And he prays to God. God, you gotta help me out. And he says, I need salvation. I need Yeshua. And then, it's like God comes and messes up Achitophel and Doeg. And next thing you know, David is reigning high. So it really, it's beyond, it's almost comical that Christianity would adopt Jesus as Yeshua. It's just... It's so funny because, religious Jews worldwide every day pray for Yeshua. It's beyond silly. It's incredible. It's in the Shemona Esrei. It's like you don't get a better word in Orthodox Judaism. That would be like in Judaism, God being called the devil. You know what I mean? And we would pray to the devil. It's that ironic. It is that ironic. But thank God Orthodox Jews don't even realize that the Messianics and stuff call him Yeshua. They don't even realize it. It's not even a thing. It's good that way because it's such a sublime concept. But when you go through the Psalms and you start to really get a feel for King David's world and his Iker, and his spirituality starts to shine. He has a spirituality. It's about the love of Torah and coming back to Torah. But again, you have to have the perspective of what Torah is. It's not the draconian law, right? It's more about King David the man. It's Torah. It's tshuva. It's Yeshua, right? Draconian law doesn't even know what Yeshua means. They're not even looking for God to rescue them. They're just looking for, can you do that today? Since there's no Jubilee, can you be rescued by God? Is that illegal? That's the attitude. So, the yeshiva world, let's say, is missing the King David, and the non-Jewish world is missing King David because they think Yeshua is whatever. Right? So, the point is, we don't have to get totally into King David, because we're going a little bit different, is that he talks about his Nefesh a lot. And you start to realize that the Nefesh is a thing. In fact, in Lurianic Kabbalah, that thing is called Zirah Elah. It's the Aramaic term for the upper lights, the upper glow. And it's the term used for Adam's soul before he sinned. So they say that the Chaya and the Yechida, the two highest levels of soul, do not fit in any vessel, then the neshama of Adam before the sin, which is called Zira Ilah. Be careful with that, upper Adam. This is also something the Zohar says. You like this, Travis. The Zohar says the upper Adam is Chachma. You like that? That's a good one. It's not a common one, but that's what the Zohar says. I'm saying it just on purpose, and be careful, but not really be careful. But you know what I'm saying? The upper, it's interesting. The upper Adam is called Adam Elyon. Do even a search on Google in Hebrew. I bet you it'll come up. Adam Elyon is Chachma. See if it comes up. Anyways, that the neshama went to, how do you say it? You want to call him Enoch or you want to call him Chanoch? I'm always torn if I say things like Melchizedek or Melchizedek. Enoch, Chanoch. So either way you say it, to go back and forth. But so Chanoch got the neshama, and Eliyahu got the ruach, and the nefesh basically got split between Jethro and Nadav and Avihu. Give me a 1 or 2 if you know who Nadav and Avihu is. Everybody? Nadav and Avihu? 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1. Nadav and Avihu are the two sons of Aaron, the two priests that went into the Mishkan drunk, and they got killed with a foreign incense or foreign offering, right? So God killed them. It's a big question why. They're really powerful guys. I mean, they are Kabbalistically the reason why Pinchas became Eliyahu. That's another story. So they got part of the Nefesh, and Jethro got part of the Nefesh. And this is really the storyline of Pinchas becoming Eliyahu, this whole thing. This is all what's, you can probably, I don't know if you can find it online, but make a reference to this. Everything I'm saying about this right now is you can reference it in your mind. Chapter 32, Shar Gilgulim, right? Period. That's the essence of that. It's the essence of Pinchas, and essentially it's the essence of DNA of the Mashiach, really. Now, when to go back into King David world, when King David says that, you know, he's having a problem with his nefesh, he is not talking about the lowest level of soul that you're going to say in Kabbalah that he has to be talking about. I remember there's a guy I love to death on Facebook. He doesn't come around so much anymore. I never met a man so insulted in my life when I told him he was a nefesh. Oh, man, he could have killed me. He said, you know, how dare you call me a mosquito? I'm like, what? He says, Rabbi Ginsburg said the nefesh is like a mosquito. You're saying, I thought you loved the ger and you're calling us mosquitoes. I'm like, oh, come on, man. You know, this is where people get stuck with this kind of stuff. Why would you think I'd call you a mosquito? He says, well, Rabbi Ginsburg said the lowest level of soul is the nefesh. You're saying again, so here, another Jew saying that the goy doesn't have an neshama. It's like, oh, man, why, you got to take it there. You know, why do you got to take it there? So again, it's two different systems. I wouldn't even worry about comparing the systems or trying to grasp where King David's going. We're not there yet. Just understand that for whatever reason, King David focuses on the nefesh, and like in a really, really, really high sense, he'll get into the ruach. Very rarely, not like the nefesh. So David is concerned that, you know, his nefesh is being exploited, stolen, killed, robbed, abused, tired, worn out, stomped on. That's King David. And people do it to him, and also he does it to himself. It's called sinning, right? Oh, my soul, exactly. And David hates sinning. So this is another Iker lesson I like to give. What is the difference between chet, sin, and avon, sin? Any takers on this? Chet and avon. Travis, you want to go for it? What's the intention? What's the difference? Not quite.
All right, I'm on the mic.
Yeah.
So avon is more like you know exactly what you're doing and you continue to do it anyway. It's almost like a sense of spite or animosity or just your nefesh, so to speak, your bestial desire just sort of gets the upper hand. You just follow the evil inclination just because you don't have the power not to.
So I'm going to give you the same pushback I gave Brandon today. You got it spot on, but as Mike would say, you're up there in 4D. You're telling us that in 4D. Can you tell me that in 3D? Can you bring 4D into 3D? By the way, I realize this is why I give all my crazy rabbit trails and metaphor. It's bringing 4D into 3D. You think you can do it? Bring 4D into 3D and explain what avon is in that way?
I think you're going to have to 3D it for us.
All right, here we go. So, again, for the listener's sake, this is I learn as much as you do when I go along with it too. This is why you got to give metaphor. Right, it brings the 4D and the 3D. Right, it's the spiritual realm in our basic pathetic lives as we live them, but we're not pathetic. Right, we are actually living spiritual souls, and we're living a Torah story. So here's maybe you've heard me say this in my classes before, but it's classic King David. I sinned when I was in Travis's house, and he had me spend the night. And I woke up at like 2 a.m, and Travis was passed out, and he has to go to work at like 6 a.m. So he's not going to be around for a while. And I woke up, and I went to the refrigerator, and I'm like, wow, Travis has like 3 tubs of Ben & Jerry's Oreo cookies and cream ice cream. I'm just going to take one straight up, right? I'm not even going to tell him. It's just, sorry, man, you shouldn't have had me over. I'm taking your ice cream. Give me a 1 or 2. Is that a good classic chet? Is that a good sin? Chet? Right? I don't care about you, Travis. I'm just straight up taking your ice cream. Period. If you're going to say something to me, I'm going to be prepared to handle it. We might never talk again, but I'm going for that ice cream. We've all been there, haven't we? And, your friends for life are the ones that let you steal it. Then they come to your house and steal yours. So, we've all been there. Now, what? That's the stupid one. But what is the avon? This is where it matters. So I'm on a diet, and I made a resolution that I'm done with ice cream. Yeah, give me a round of applause. I'm done with the Oreos and cream and Ben & Jerry's ice cream. We're done with that. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I shop at Super Salt Deal on Friday because they're not open. This is a fictitious story, by the way, as was the Travis story. I've never actually been in Travis's house or stolen his ice cream. So Super Salt Deal is closed no matter what, winter, summer, by 11 o'clock in the morning. So it makes me get up early, and I go there because they don't carry Ben & Jerry's ice cream. Right? It's like the Hamish store. They don't carry it. I'm responsible. I got to be up early and be a good citizen, right? So I had a bad day one week, and I woke up late, and I even had to ask the next door neighbor to take the kids to school. And I went to the Super Salt Deal was closed. It was already noon. Shabbos is coming, and I really got to cook and get ready for Shabbos. I'm sorry about that. I'm beating my chest. I'm doing tshuva. What can I do? I get to Machzanei Shuk, the new store, and what do you think they have right next to the checkout line? Go ahead and guess. That's right. Ben & Jerry's ice cream. And I'm like, hey, look, I'm on a diet, but did I make them put it there? Did I choose this? I didn't choose it. They're the ones that did this to me. And look, I slept in. It wasn't my fault. I'm going to take it just once. It's been 6 months since I stole Travis's ice cream. So I'm going to do it. I'm taking it. I'm paying for it. I'm a good citizen. And you don't have the right to blame me. What do you think I'm going to do next week now? Next week. Here we go. Alarm goes off. What's the call? We're going to accidentally sleep in, right? That's right. Store number 2. Hey, I just couldn't get the Super Solid deal in time. I just couldn't do it. What, you were going to blame me? I got my kids to school. I don't see you getting your kids to school. Who are you pointing fingers at? So, what can I do? So I went and I got the Oreo ice cream again. Now I've learned how to steal. It's a learned behavior. King David is okay with sinning. And you should be okay with sinning too. King Solomon says there's no man so righteous and holy that doesn't sin. Now, you should guard against sin. You should do your tshuva. You should not look to steal Travis's ice cream. But you are going to make mistakes in this world. You just are. Okay? Your job is to get holy and pure and do the best you can. And you got to be a God-fearer. And you got to bring the offering to the temple. And you got to pay for your. You got to make a sacrifice for your sin. You will pay for it. It did not come for free. Right? You will bring the offering. So what does the temple say? It's a tzedakah. Right? You sin, and God is giving you a chance for tshuva. That's right. Massive deep stuff. Now, God is saying, look, Travis, I expect you to be a God-fearer. You have to have the fear of God. You sin because you didn't know better. You sin because you messed up. Now, you didn't even have to bring an offering to the temple. You could have just said, I didn't know. What could I do? Who am I to know these things? So you're what we call someone that does not fear the hand of heaven. But when I beat you up and I said, hey, man, you cannot be stealing my Ben & Jerry's ice cream, you're going to feel bad about yourself and say, man, I should not have stolen this guy's ice cream. You got to now bring a korban, right? You got to get on an airplane, fly to Israel, do your animal thing, whatever you got to do, right, to bring restitution for the sin that you did. And that means you're not going to do it again, right? When you bring that offering, that means you did tshuva. You better not do it again. Now, you can always do tshuva again, but that's not how it works. That's what the prophet Malachi warns against. You don't buy off God with offerings. But the idea is that you don't play the game to not lose. You're going to lose some, right? You have to be, you don't know everything. But you still have to try your best not to sin, whatever it is. But King David's not worried about sinning, right? He's already chalking that off as a liability, right? People sin. If Travis stole my ice cream, I'm okay with that because people just cannot control that yetzer. Travis had to have the chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream. There's just no way about it. It's a done deal. He's got to have it. Right? I'm going to go to his house and steal his granola bars, and we're going to be friends. That's like every high school story ever told. Right? And King David's fine with that. We're all guys. He's a guy. He's a real guy. What King David doesn't like is that he learned how to sin. That is the real plague. That is the real plague. Right? And most of the sins that you did before you knew it was wrong. You did it before you even knew you could prevent it. Right? Like Adam with the Garden of Eden, right? God allowed it to happen. Even though he was commanded not to, there was no precedent not to. To digress a little, take the metaphor to Pesha. 1 second, remind me in a second. I was saying, I think Kuldavar Pesha, and I think Pesha is neglect, right? Let's say you got the bad girlfriend and you broke up and her phone number is on your table. You could have thrown out the number and cleaned out your files. You didn't, right? You didn't. You let things linger around in your life, right? You could have thrown out the trash, so to speak. Just bad crowd, bad friend, bad boss, right? Your boss abuses you. You could have said, I'm putting my foot down, and that's it, man. You're out of my life. But he went, hey, Travis, I'm sorry, man. I need you to come back. And, hey, you got me last time. Yeah, but I'm changing. So, you're neglecting. You're neglecting your soul. You're neglecting yourself. That's patient. Anyways, so King David's whole thing is that he has learned how to sin. And that is the biggest satan in your life. When you find out how to sin. Right? Oh, I found out that the Noahites don't care if I cancel class on them out of the blue. They don't care. So you know what? I'll just start canceling all the time. And, and then it's like, we would have liked to come to your class, but you never showed up. Well, you didn't show up either. So now we're blaming and finger pointing, right? I found out that I could be late. You found out you could be late. I found out, you can call me, hey, dude. I can call you a name. It just becomes abusive. So whatever it is, you find out the little secrets of abuse and all these nasty little things. All right. So that's what hurts your soul, your nefesh. And I'm focusing on that word nefesh. That is how you destroy your nefesh. Vices, habits, yetzer hara, the nachash. This is how you do it. And that's what plagues us. Your sinning is not what plagues you. It's what upsets you. It's what gives you a horrible day and you feel miserable about yourself and you have a bad self-image. But you'll get over that. You will get over that. But you will not get over so easily your sinning nature, creating a culture of sin. And that's what Klippa is. Klippa really is a sinning culture. Holiness is the culture not of sinning, but of the service of the temple. Not for the sake of the offering, right? But the temple itself. So in King David's world, there's the nefesh and there's the ruach. And the ruach is, once my nefesh is banging on all cylinders, then we can talk ruach. I'm not talking like a level change. It's really like the highest part of Mohin, the God Lut, Mohin, the godless, versus, I'm all right. Right? You have your high days and you have your low days. Avon is the lowest day, and the Ruach is like your day that you're just flying. So I'm going to close up here pretty soon because this is not a one-time deal, and I just want to set it up today. Pay attention to what I'm saying right now. You ready? So in the Tanakh, how many times do you think the word nefesh appears? To the point that I'm bringing it in, including it in my Midrash Shlomo project. 753. How's that? That's one of those ones that sticks out off the page. So when I saw that, I'm saying like, okay, wow. If Kol Torah did 156 of Yosef, then I am certainly going to do 753 of Nefesh. And I got into Nefesh. I do it, I do it every Sunday at least when I do my project. And now I'm addicted, completely addicted. It's like King David on steroids. I'm doing it. I can't stop. I just want to finish all 753. I've done about 150 so far. And I'm going to tell you something extremely profound. The entire Torah on one foot. Is it safe to say that Torah is the tree of life? According to Kabbalah, we say it is. It's not an idea, it's a truth. All right. Is it safe to say that the tree of life, the Torah, the written Torah, is reality? All right. Therefore, is this dialogue tonight, right now, reality? is there a good chance that we don't understand this reality? Probably so. Right? We're viewing it from ego, and I'm tired, and da-da-da-da-dee. I actually believe that I'm tired right now. Is that a true statement or a false statement? And according to reality, it's completely false. That is what my body is telling you. My body means nothing. That's like saying if I gave you a glass of water, I said, "Hey, Travis, how you doing?" You'd say, "Oh, well, I'm doing fine, but it must be a little bit hot in here, Rabbi." I say, "Why?" "Well, my cup is sweating profusely. Could you possibly raise the temperature to the air conditioner to a cooler temperature?" "Why?" "Well, my cup is suffering. It's rather hot in here by the amount of sweat that it's causing it." Right? That's a ridiculous statement. That is ridiculous. Your cup doesn't feel anything, as far as I'm concerned. So why do I care what your body's feeling? It doesn't matter. Now you're going to contradict that with Job and say, but you said we have to take care of our bodies in Job. Where we have to mourn and grieve our bodies properly in Job. That's halfway true. Halfway true. But really, go to the big picture. This is the most, I'm about to say the most profound thing I've ever said in my life. What is the entire Torah on one foot? Any takers? Have you ever heard of the groundbreaking bestseller, The World of the Ger? So, if we called our book The World of the Ger, you know what God calls his book? I want you to really think about this. No, really think about this. The name of God's book is called The World of the Nefesh. I want you to think about that for a second. That is the most profound thing you'll ever hear in your life. It is called The World of the Nefesh. When I punch Travis in his eyeball and the Torah now says I owe money to court, what does the Torah say I did to Travis? In the Hebrew, I struck a nefesh. Travis, did you cry when I hit you? Was there any kind of liquid emitted from your eyeball? Call it blood, pus, whatever you want to call it. So is it an accident that I punched you in the eye? Why didn't I punch you like give you a Charlie horse? You know, why didn't I give you a Charlie horse? Say, oh, I got you, ha, ha, ha. Because the mazel is that my nefesh is attacking your nefesh. Why am I not allowed to eat the blood of a dead cow when I shecht it, whatever? Because a man doesn't eat the nefesh of another. I am not an animal. I am a man. Now you take that ratio, that claw, every word of Torah is camouflage for the interactions of the nefashos of this world. Do you realize that? I mean, it is the most mind-blowing thing you will ever experience in your life. I promise you that. Men and women, marriage is just nefashot. Your Shabbos is when you settle the liquids in your body at a state of rest, to which the Torah says that's where you yearn for the name of God. Your liquid in your body literally, like the Terminator 2, yearns for the name of God. It's a new view of life. I'm telling you, it is. I wish I could convey how deep my mind is into this. Is it literally is that big. There's no hyperbole I can say to convey this. There just isn't. It's and I would. It sounds ridiculous, but when you see the Hebrew, remember, I am learning 753 times the word nefesh in the Torah. When you see, I am requiring you to look up the word nefesh all 753 times. You will realize the entire narrative of Torah is God speaking to himself in creation, watching nature exist. There's something in nature called man, and man has a higher nefesh than the animals. For that reason, he is given the Torah, and the Torah is literally the computer program manual of how the nefashos are to the most optimal way work. The waters of creation were like a pool of pure nefesh, says it in Hebrew. Eventually, that got put into man like some kind of holy elixir it's like white blood cells. It's literally, the white blood cells in your body are just an image, a metaphor. You have in you some kind of sacred serum. And it can become impure. It can become, it can leak out of your body. When you become angry, you boil it, and it makes you into an idolater, to where you become angry and you want to punch me and steal my money, and then I might kill you, and then I go to a city of refuge. Each time, the Torah calls it nefesh. Yeah. Right, when you give your friend wise counsel, you satisfy his nefesh, says Solomon in Mishlei. I'm going to stop right here. Ponder this. I mean, this is the most beautiful thing you will ever perceive in your life. So, why does God want you to eat good food and not just bread, like stale bread and salt? Because you have a nefesh. Forget your body. Your body is just a vessel for this nefesh. The nefesh is saying, treat me right. It's the Shekhinah in you. But it's not Shekhinah spirit. It's a liquid. It's holy liquid. God put the soul, he literally poured the soul into this world. On Yom Kippur, you don't eat and drink. You elevate your liquid. It's a spiritual liquid. How many of you saw the last episode of Star Trek Next Generation? You got to watch that. You got to watch that. Q takes Picard back to Earth in its beginning, and he says, "Oh, look, Picard, the first proteins are going to mix with the blah, blah, blah." And they says, "Look, you're a wonderful puddle of goo." That's what you all are, a puddle of goo. And it's amazing. God made us a puddle of goo. Inside you is a puddle of goo. Inside me is a puddle of goo, and our goo is one. It's literally one goo. And if you're sick, if your goo is sick, you're going to try to steal my goo. That might come from punching. That's right. It's the nefesh. You might try to, whatever you do, but the Torah tells us how to manage our goo, how to work the nefesh. And the nefesh is life. It gets sick. It's impure. It's enlightened. It's joyous. It dances. With music, it moves. with songs it sings. It is the best part of reality all the time. I only wish I could explain it all the rest of my life in an only clearer terms. If I've done any justice to it today, then mazel tov to you. Yeah, well, that's part of it. Yeah, that would be a Torah Hashem thing. So the question is, how do you resonate the wisdom into that kaved to cleanse the nefesh? See, that's what you ultimately have to do. How do you get into your blood? And the answer is, let me tell you the answer. I got it. Where did I put it? 1 second. Oh, come on, where did I put it? I laminated it. Where did I put it? I laminated it for this reason. It's a verse in Mishlei. Oh, come on, don't do this to me. Where did I put it? I don't remember where I put it. Where did I put it? Hold on. Don't go anywhere. 1 second. I gotta look for it. 1 second. You gotta get this verse. 1 second. Mishlei 27:9. Mishlei 27:9. Can someone please post that? Mishlei 27:9. That's the verse. It's really about Shefa, Mazel, life, Mazon, sustenance, offspring. It says, and what satisfies the soul is good counsel from your friends. Like Torah counsel, Torah wisdom. I mean, the essence of the Talmud Bavli, when you really break it down, it's Friday night meal Shabbos. That is the essence of the entire Torah. Wine, oil, bread, incense, really, like Havdalah at the end of Shabbos, and words of Torah at the table. It's the essence of Melchizedek, Avraham. That is the Nefesh. That is the Nefesh. That is the entire Torah. It is the entire reality. It is our world. It is our man world, Adam. Right? Your body is a joke. It's not telling you the story. Your neshama is lying to you too, and so is your ruach. Those are all trinkets to your nefesh. Right? Your ruach is your ability to articulate. Okay, and to reach higher levels. That's great, but that's not intrinsic to you. Right? When you're feeling horrible and sick and in bed, you don't have much of a ruach. Thank you, Travis. Right? And when your body is, even dead and gone, or just whatever it is, that's not what it's about either. You don't judge someone on their body. Everyone knows that. Your nefesh is just that Midsummer's Night Dream. It's the enchantment of this world, right? It wants a good meal. It wants hot chicken soup when you're sick, right? It wants a comfortable mattress. It wants to hold hands with its partner. It wants to see a movie that brings you to tears. Those tears are tears of joy and sadness and bitter that bring you to pray to open the gates of heaven. All right, that storyline is the ultimate romance, where it's not even romance. I hate romance. Romance is great, but really, when you realize, it's pathetic. Because if you live a lot and die a life of romance, that means that we feel, you're asking God to feel sorry for you. And we love romance. It looks great. It's like, Bob died all along, and no one knew the secret of Bob, and his soul will go there. It is hopeless. Hopeless romantic. Everyone loves the hopeless romantic, but it's hopeless. The nefesh is not hopeless. That's the whole point. The nefesh says I eat off of good china with a chicken soup when I'm sick because there is hope. See the difference? There is hope for me. Right? You punch me in the face because there's hope, because I have a nefesh. The Torah prevented me then from killing you because there is hope. There is a nefesh. I'll close on this note again. Everything you know in reality, when you read the Torah on every level, it is the world of the nefesh. Nothing more, nothing less. Right now, I'm only talking to you because the liquid in my body is emanating a vapor that comes out through reverberation that exists in the airwaves that then reverberates in you, which gets your liquid in you to get a signal to your brain to which you hear. It's just nefesh going through nefesh. It's the physical, natural world that is actually 100% spiritual in a Terminator 2 type setting. If that's not awesome, I don't know what to tell you. And the backing is in the Torah. Every place they use the word nefesh. It's in a way that you just, when it says that a slave is a nefesh, why? Because they're saying this guy, for whatever reason, in his fallen condition, they don't even recognize anything but that his body is just a nefesh. It's like the famous meme on Facebook. Some people are so poor, all they have is money. But even that's beautiful. Imagine the slave, all he has is a soul. Okay, it's a pathetic condition, right? But look at the beauty of it. He is a soul. The fact that you abuse him because your nefesh is exploiting his, I know it's horrendous. It's horrible. But look at the reality of it. Whether we like it or not, we live in that reality of nefesh. You see what I'm saying? The Torah is here to tell you what's wrong and how to prevent it and how to fix it and how to elevate it. But it's the profound revelation of the reality of the nefesh. That's what gets me. That's what gets me is that when you punched me, okay, you're attacking me where my nefesh goes out of my body. Because it's the mazel of the nefesh. You were only attacking me because you were stealing my soul. So when David says, "Oh, my soul," he literally means it. When David says he wants his head to be empty and filled with God, he's asking for the marrow to empty in his brain. It's liquid. I mean, it's just such a wild concept. It's not even blood, it's a liquid. You have an intelligent liquid in you. That just blows out any sci-fi you can ever imagine. It can evaporate. So the Torah tells you how to keep it from evaporating. You have to have kiddush on Friday night with wine, right? You have to do certain things. Torah is like water. So if you ingest Torah, you have water in you. Why? Because then we have Torah. The mazel comes with the water. It's right. The rain is attached. It's just take what Travis just said and multiply that to the endless fractal of the nafkamina of what I just told you. That's nefesh. The most profound thing you will ever experience. Then you begin to interact with your nefesh and you begin to recognize the nefesh of others. And the wisdom emanates from that nefesh. Forget the higher elements of your soul. None of your business. Forget your body. It's none of your business. Really boils down to that nefesh. If you really pay attention, you'll realize it's just God shaking the nefesh, right? Energizing the nefesh. arousing the nefesh. Now, your body is there to serve your nefesh. So you interact through your body, your experiences in your body. Your ruach, again, is the whatever from the nefesh, right? The vapor that comes. I mean, however you take the metaphor from there, right? And the whatever you are, okay, that's your neshama. Fine, got it. But I don't need to relate to your neshama. I'll just do that innately. The Torah is a physical thing. Your neshama is not physical. I don't say, oh, look, there's Travis. There he is. There's neshama. Hey, neshama Travis. How's it going? No, but I do interact with your nefesh. If I punch you in the eye, that was my nefesh on your nefesh. Right? If we hug each other and embrace, that was a nefesh moment. If I get poor and bought and sold into slavery, that was my nefesh. When I have a Friday night Shabbos and it's amazing with friends and family or whatever, that's my nefesh. Shabbos, nefesh yisera, neshama yisera, ruach, whatever you say. But it's the calming of the nefesh, the replenishment of the nefesh, the Yeshua of the nefesh. Keeping Shabbos will restore your fluids every week. Game, set, match, folks. That's it. I'm done. You guys got it out of me. Did I do justice here? Did we get Nefesh? Is it out there now? All right. It's my dream come true. It really is. I've been looking for this for so long. And I thought I had it with Mazel. I really did. And then I realized that Mazel is the Nefesh. It makes total sense, right? Shefa, Banim, Chaim, and Mazon, right? Where do you need to eat in your nefesh? That's the whole point. That's the whole point. It's where Atzilus enters this world through your nefesh. Because really, what is your nefesh? It's Malchus of Atzilus. That's why it's awesome. Your nefesh is just metaphor for an elevator trip that takes you to nefesh of Atzilus. It is. That's it. You said sustenance. I was going to say substance to all his living creatures. But the substance requires sustenance. That's it. It's God taking care of his creation. You are the sustenance to receive substance. It's just such a profound thing. You know, I mean, I tried telling Russell this here tonight. I didn't even want to say it because I didn't want to ruin it. And when you realize how precious the nefesh is, and the Torah is saying, here's the book on nefesh, don't mess it up. Who would want to mess it up? Ger is a nefesh. That's it. Ger are the people that love just are in with their nefesh. They're nefesh people. That's why the Torah includes in every ger mitzvah by referring to them as the nefesh.